everybody, it's Stephanie and Steven back again for our next session with Tabletastic 2, the Church Hill block. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this so along. We've had a lot of nice comments about it, which is great. Yes, there have been a few problems, and if you saw last week's episode, you know how we're tackling those in the measurements. It isn't a major problem, so I hope nobody's getting their knickers in a knot over it. These things do happen. And as you saw, there's workarounds. And, as I said, I am the fudge it king. So I have been fudging it along, but it's working out fine. Well, today's steps, we're doing step 4 and 5 over here in the right-hand column. Very simple. You're just making a 4 patch, several of them, and I'm moving away from the screen. Thank you, stage thing manager. And then we're making some corner pieces as well. And that's it for today. And these go together pretty fast, and there really isn't any problem getting them the right size either, because it's pretty much just straight sewing. But there is a little bit of a trick I'm going to talk about on step 5 that caught me up a couple of times because it just wouldn't be idiot quilter if I didn't. So anything you want to say, Stephanie, before we get started?
No, I'm excited to get started on this week's.
Okay, so without further ado, let's go for it. So the first thing is in step 4. And in step 4, you're going to be making a total of 4, what they call unit Gs, which are just these 4 patches. I have one here that I've already finished.
Oh, pretty.
And so you can see, I mean, this is pretty basic sewing here. So it shouldn't be a problem. I lay my stuff all out on my little design boards. And so I take them over to my sewing machine and do them that way. That keeps me straight. But really, all you're going to do is sew, when you have them laid out, sew the top row, and then press it, and press your seams. I press my top row, the seams to the left, my bottom row to the right, so they'll lock, and you'll just fold them over, and you have your block. And it's just that's that simple. Any tips or anything more? I don't know. I mean, this is basic.
Yeah, it's a 4 patch. I mean, there's not much else to say. Like you said, press them opposite, and I like to press towards my colored pieces. So
yeah,
which is what you're doing. So
that's actually what I'm doing too. Yeah. Yep. But anyways, okay, to the sewing machine. Let us go. And this is actually this set. If you've got them all laid out, this is where you can do some chain piecing.
Yep.
Which makes things go just a little faster. If my sewing machine stays threaded. Been sewing on it all morning before we started doing this, and it never unthreaded itself. Of course, as soon as I started on camera, what's it want to do? Unthread.
Of course.
Of course it does.
That's Murphy's Law, isn't it?
It is. Okay, let's try this again with more feeling.
Your sewing machine just got shy for a minute, that's all.
Yep. Does that. So I have 3, 6. I have 8 actual blocks done.
Wow.
In this. And so I've got one more to do, I'm hoping later today, which is actually in the past when you people are seeing this video. Getting that done because I'd really like to get this sucker put together and figure out how I'm going to do the final assembly. I think we were talking the other day, you were asking.
So for your quilt top, are you doing a 3x3 configuration then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I debated on adding another row to it, which would make it rectangular, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. It would make it rectangular. Right now, it's going to be a square. I tend to lately been making everything square. I don't know why. It just is that way. But to be really honest about it, I don't think I have the perseverance to do 3 more. because
Yeah.
I'm get I well, this happens with a pattern, right? When you're doing a lot of repetitive kind of sewing, it's
Hmm.
I'm bored.
Yeah, it gets boring. Yeah.
So that's why I'm sort of pushing myself to get it done because I don't want this to be a UFO. And I've got a pile to go on to Lucy sitting there waiting. And when you do long arming, and you know this for sure, Stephanie,
Hmm.
you need a day. You
Oh
need
yeah.
you got to dedicate a day to do a quilt on a long arm. And
Yes.
they've been piling up because every day has seemed to have been, well, I'm behind because of having COVID.
Yeah.
Because I just did not feel like facing Lucy.
Well, I was gonna say you had a plan when you came back from Australia, but then you got sick, so
Yeah, my best laid plans of mice and men, it always happens.
right?
I make lists. I think you do. And then I revamp the lists and I make more lists about those lists.
Yep, I sure do.
And I never stick to them because
Yep.
something else gets in my way.
I try to stick to them, but life happens. So,
Yeah. It's really, I am a self disciplined person too, for the most part. But sometimes, you just don't feel like it.
yep.
And then, too, sometimes I turn around and say to myself, what's the rush? I'm retired. The only deadlines I have are deadlines I set for myself.
Yeah, self-imposed.
So, don't beat yourself up on it if you don't really make the schedule because the only person it's really affecting is me.
Yeah.
Why does that matter? It doesn't really. But I guess it's my background in teaching. Everything, my life was ruled for 31 years by bells.
You're like me. You need to have order. You need to have things, a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to have a little order in my life. I do not deal with chaos and randomness very well.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I don't really like surprises. I mean,
I call it controlled chaos because you can't control everything, but if you can control as much as possible, then the chaos that comes isn't as bad.
yeah, true, true. I suppose in a sense it's a little bit of being a bit of a control freak too. You know, I work on my schedule. I'll work on somebody else's schedule as long as I know what it is. Like as long as they don't make any last minute changes on me, that'll send me into a tizzy.
Yeah. As long
Especially
as you have a plan. Yeah.
especially if I'm prepared for this, and there was prep and we had beforehand, and suddenly someone throws a monkey wrench into it, and I go, ah. I mean, but sometimes it depends. I can get panicky.
No, you and I are so similar that way because my husband is quite the opposite. He's not a planner. And I'm always like, can you just tell me what the plan is? Well, I don't know. And that just makes me insane.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, I'll be fine with anything you want to do or need to do as long as you tell me the plan.
yeah. Well, Walter is a planner, but his planning stays in his head. So
Ah,
I never know where it's going to go until it goes. So I've learned to cope with that over
yeah.
the years. But like yesterday, I don't know what I had to go to the eye doctor for my examination and everything like that.
Hmm.
And he had a hair appointment at 11:45. I got home just as he was about to leave. He's sitting in his car and the front door's open. And I said, "Were you going to drive off and leave the house with the front door open?" "Oh, is it open?" "Yeah," I said, "It's open." And I said, "So, anyways, I'm here now, so it doesn't matter. So, um, what do you want to do after you get your haircut? What about lunch?" Because that he says, "Oh," he says, "I think I'm going to go over to Canadian Tire." Like that's his favorite place. He's
Yes.
Canadian Tire. And I said, "Okay, fine." Because now what he wants to look at their flowers and get the stuff out there.
Oh,
And
yeah, that time of year. Hmm.
he's doing all of that right now. So I said, "Okay, fine." Well, then he comes back at about, well, I had just I just turned on Bridgerton, like I was telling you before we started the video today, and was kind of laying on the couch watching that because for some reason I just suddenly felt really tired.
Hmm.
And he comes in, he goes, "Yeah, I got a few things. I'm going to go out again." I said, "Oh, okay, fine." You want to the place? You want to check Rona or whatever for what they had, their flowers. Well, I didn't even hear him leave the house, and about an hour later, I go upstairs and figuring he's up there, he's not. So I look, his car is gone. Oh, okay, he's gone off to Rona and whatnot. And then he came back and he's tooling around out in the garage doing something or other. And I thought he'd come back in. He never comes back in. So I go check and I thought, well, what? Did you come in or not? No, he's gone again.
Oh,
And then when he does come home, he's got these big tomato plants and pepper plants. And
oh wow.
he found a good price on them. They were on sale over a crappy tire again. I mean, and this guy's starting and when I say we, he is starting our container garden out on the deck right now. I'll
Yeah.
probably have some pictures of that on this next week's vlog. But I didn't know what he's doing, but that's the thing. He doesn't tell me. Because I kind of
Yeah.
thought, well, I wouldn't mind going with him, but I know that when he's in that mode, it's
Uh-huh.
no, do not go with him. He has
Yeah.
a plan. He has a plan. So I have my four sewn together, and this is what they look like. Now these are supposed to measure. Usually get them in the right orientation. Goes up there, it goes that way. That one goes that way. Am I in camera shot? Yeah, sort of. These are supposed to finish at 5.5 inch square, and so I double check to make sure. And yep, mine are all 5.5 inch, which is good. And I didn't have to do any trimming.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
but if you do have to do a little trimming, just keep in mind they're supposed to be 5.5 inch. So always check. I have found with this pattern that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So those ones I can set aside. And I'll let you, are you ahead of me or behind me? I cheated. I had one done already.
Yes, you did. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I'll
It's all
wait
right.
till you catch up. I'm going to have a.
I just have to press mine and then they're done.
Yep. Okay, no rush. I beat Stephanie. I beat Stephanie. Uh,
I'm
yeah.
in slow-mo today. I told you this morning I was tired. I
Hmm.
don't know. I didn't sleep good last night, so I'm just like, usually I'm up and ready to rearing to go. Today I'm in first gear.
Yeah. Actually, I slept well last night, but I went to bed a little bit earlier last night. I don't know why I was so tired, but I was.
Hmm.
And then, of course, after I got my eyes checked, of course, my prescription in my glasses, which are basically reading glasses, had changed a little bit.
Hmm.
I went in to see the optometrist who's right next door to the ophthalmologist. And the ophthalmologist and I were talking, and I said, "Look, I said, these progressive lenses, I never get used to them. I never know where to look." And
Hmm.
he said, "Well, you might want to try something." He called them home and computer glasses. I think
Oh,
one lens a little stronger than the other, and it's supposed to whatever. And I said, okay, well, that sounds, because I told him, I said, I'm either looking at a computer screen or I'm looking at a sewing machine needle. And I have
hmm.
to be able to see those two. I have no trouble with distance or watching television or driving because I don't wear my glasses for that. That's fine.
Hmm.
This is for close up. So when I went and saw the optometrist, he said, no, he didn't recommend that. And he was he at one point was telling me like two pairs of glasses. One for
Oh.
I'm doing this, yeah, and he says, no, I am not going two pairs of glasses because I will never find them. I'll always put them someplace and I'll be the opposite end and run around.
Yeah, and having to flip back and forth, what a pain.
And I told him I like these frames that I have. I don't, so I want to keep the frames, just want new lenses. Then he was showing me newer frames. And he
Hmm.
said, and ones with the nose pieces, which, are the wire nose pieces. I hate those. I've had them
Yeah.
before. They always bend, they pull on your ear. So I said, no. But he says, well, they've made them better now for, and I said, no. It is no, I want these ones. So, anyways, he recommended the lenses that should be gotten for this. And I do trust his opinion about it because I've been going to him for years and he knows his stuff. So, anyways, next week I get the new lenses in, but he needed to have my frames for the week, right? Because I'm using the same. And I says, that could be a problem. And he said,
Yeah.
no, he says, I'll solve it. So he popped out my lenses in my frames. He had another pair of frames exactly like them, popped my lenses in that, and I've got these as loaners.
Oh.
Which is nice. He's good for that kind of stuff. Uh, but you don't want to know how much my lenses cost.
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
$950.
Whew.
So, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, okay. So, you ready for the next stage?
Sure thing.
All right, so I've got it here on my board. You're taking, it is a M piece, which in my case is this blue square, and two A pieces, which are background fabric, and they are already, you should have already have them cut. I think they were a 3-inch square, or were they a 4-inch square? I think 4-inch square that we cut diagonally in half.
Yeah. In quarters. Yep.
Or actually, I think we cut it in quarters, didn't we? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how they go. Now, it doesn't matter which one you sew in which order. I've laid mine out, but you want to make sure you don't flip when you're going to your sewing machine. It's easy to flip one of these the wrong way, and you get, like, for example, I've done this after I've sewn it, and yeah, that's wrong.
Oh, whoops.
And it's very easy to get yourself disoriented. So that's why I lay them out here on my little board to do it.
Yeah.
It's just straight sewing from there. And so I'm taking mine over to the sewing machine and away we go.
And when you sew these together, you are going to have like a little tail on the end that'll stick over. So don't worry about that. It's fine
Yep.
on that part.
And you need 8 of these units.
Yes.
That's,
Bunch.
but again, chain piecing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you press them, and I guess this goes without saying, but because you've got little triangle pieces cut on the bias, you want to be careful when you're pressing that you don't stretch them.
Yep.
But if you do what Stephanie does, he uses the magic juice.
Helps a lot.
I should be using it too, but I'm lazy.
It is an added step because people say, "Oh, that's more work." I know that, but I like the
Well,
way I like my result though.
yeah, I know it gives good results, and that's true. I'm finger pressing my seams out from the colored square.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you can take them over to your sewing machine and or take them over to your iron and press them if you wish between putting them on. I have found if I press them after, it works okay. So you done yet?
I'd forgotten that there was 8 of these in this step.
That there's what?
I said I'd forgotten that there was 8 of these in this step.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I have not made 9 blocks like Steven has.
And I am, quite frankly, tired of them. Pretty, yes, but wow.
Oh, it's your quilt's going to be gorgeous.
I just want to move on, now.
Yeah.
I have so many things I want to do. And, I was one of those arrogant little a-holes who would say, I don't have any UFOs. And I do one project at a time. And I'm just absolutely perfect in everything and that kind of stuff. And then people would, probably want to kill me. But no, I'm not like that anymore. I do have some UFOs. Mind you, they're for Lucy. That's the kind of UFOs. And I am very tempted to get started on another project, and that I force myself to do because I
Ah,
I know if I start another project, and I can't work on two at the same time.
gotcha.
Mainly because I don't feel like I'm getting anything accomplished when I do that. I'm flipping back and forth between two different projects, and nothing seems to be getting done. So I need that feeling of achievement.
Yeah.
But you work on multiple projects, don't you, at one time?
I do, but there's sometimes where I think I wish my brain would say no to that because you're right, you don't feel like you're getting a lot accomplished, but then at the end, you're getting like a whole bunch of projects finished all at once.
That's true. So
So,
to have like a mega feeling of accomplishment.
but then the problem with that is then you have a whole bunch of stuff to go in the long arm.
Yeah.
So there's a upside and a downside to it. But it does help me from getting bored because I do have like a variety of things I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, sometimes what I do is just to keep myself from getting bored, I'll start a machine embroidery project.
Oh
And
yeah.
I can sort of, depending on how long it takes for each section of the machine embroidery project, I can sometimes like let the machine do its thing and I can go over to the sewing machine and carry on with another project.
There you go.
So I guess I do work on multiple projects at times. Okay, I've got mine sewn, but now I got to press them.
You have both sides sewn on?
Yeah.
Oh, you're fast.
Well, how many have I done of these?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's almost I can do these in my sleep.
Yeah.
Eight of those suckers already. So there are mine laid out there. Now, Stephanie already mentioned you're going to have these little dog ears down here. You don't have to worry about clipping those off. They're eventually going to disappear in the next steps of it all. Now I can have more coffee. Well, I'm very proud of myself. I beat Stephanie.
You do.
She sews at the speed of light.
Stephanie needs coffee to wake up. My
Yeah.
brain is still like asleep or something.
Yeah, well, I'm on my second cup, so that could be it too. I'm getting well caffeinated.
So, what are you Canadians doing up there? Because we're getting air quality warnings again that there might be smoke coming our way.
We're burning again. Out west, they're having these forest fires now. Yesterday, up in a place in northern BC or northern Alberta, I'm not sure
Mhm.
which it was. It's way up there, but they were evacuating and or had evacuated, but it was raining yesterday. But I don't know
Oh,
how much of the rain they got. Of course, they need that. But yeah, it's the forests are burning again this summer, and so you guys are all going to get smoked out.
yeah.
we're not getting, I haven't noticed any of the smoke here.
Yeah,
And
we haven't really gotten it yet. They're just kind of warning us because I guess it could be flowing this way. I don't know.
yeah, of course,
Eventually.
at the time of when people are seeing this, we may all be gasping for air. We've been buried under smoke forever, or maybe they're all over with, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
haven't,
maybe there'll be enough rain to stop it.
yeah, hopefully. God, but I guess well, somebody on one of our so days there that's in Alberta was saying that, yep, it was really smoky and it's really dry there and everything, which is just weird because that's you don't know. Is it global warming? Is it climate change? Or is this just the way the world is? We just don't realize it because it's a cycle that takes longer than recorded weather
Yeah,
reports. I don't know with it anymore. So I'm just glad we're not having it here, but I really feel for the people out west because, well, I don't like seeing trees get burned either. We need the trees. So
sure. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
it's,
we were talking about this. I was having this discussion with somebody the other day about, the tornadoes have been really bad this year
yeah, yeah, I've seen
here in the
that too on the
States.
news.
Yeah, and somebody's like, "Oh, it's global warming." It has nothing to do with that. I
No,
mean, it goes through periods because I remember years ago, I lived in Oklahoma for a time and we had a really bad string of tornadoes. It's cyclical, I think.
yeah, I that's what I think too. But people you get the two sides of the argument was, well, no, you've got your head in the sand, saying that, no, this is, we got to do something about the climate and the whole bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, we need to be cautious. We've been, as human beings, we have been very rough on the environment,
Hmm.
but, you know, like, what are you going to do? Our
Yeah.
governments aren't doing a heck of a lot about it. They're just using smoke and mirrors. In our country, it's a carbon tax. How is the carbon tax going to help the environment?
Yeah.
I mean, and they're not using that money for initiatives, some of it, but most of it they're wasting away on some other stupid thing. So I don't know. The older I've gotten, the more of a conspiratist theorist or whatever you call it. I'm
Yeah.
starting to believe those now. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that happens when you get an aged brain. I don't know. But hoping it'll be a nice. I mean, I don't mind the heat,
Hmm.
but to the point though, I don't want it burning up our crops and
Sure.
stuff like that. That's just an excuse too. Like when that all happens, oh, suddenly, you're going to be having to sell your firstborn for a green pepper if you want to sell it. Um, that's why we're planting ours.
Yeah.
But oh well, I can't do anything about it. So
No.
I recycle. I try to cut down my use of plastics. I take a cloth bag to the grocery store. I don't know. We have a hybrid car.
That's the big push here in the States now is to get an electric vehicle.
Yeah, it's a big push here too, but the thing is we don't have the infrastructure.
No, we don't either. The electric grid is can't handle every person having an electric car.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
yesterday I was yesterday, I forget this is going to be in the future. One day, a week ago, so I was watching Kawartha Quilting talking about they were going to some show in the States. And I think
Hmm.
it was in Detroit area or whatever. And Kawartha Quilting is Canadian. And they have an electric car. Now, they didn't say it was a hybrid, but they were
Hmm.
taking the car for that distance. And have you planned out where there's going to be electrical places to recharge it?
Charging stations. Yeah.
Because you're going to run out of juice on that one. And
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to hear what they say, if they got stranded or not. Because even if you find places that have, like, you can map them out where they have them, you can get there and they're not working.
Yes. Yep.
And that's very common. So what I've heard anyways on reports. So,
Mhm.
oh, you're cutting your little tails off, are you?
Yeah. Make
Oh,
them look prettier.
Oh, you little type A, you.
I know. They don't have to come off, but I was looking at them, I'm like, I don't know.
Oh,
We're
oh, that
gonna
looks
make
so
them look
nice.
prettier.
Yeah. I'm leaving my tails on.
All
So,
right. There you go.
so that's it.
That's
That's
it.
this
All
session
done.
all
So
done.
just the
So,
4 patches here and then these guys here. So
so
just
I've
be
been,
really careful with these because they are stretchy.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I think the next instructions in the next session, we're doing what? Are we putting them? We're starting to build the big centerpiece at
yes,
that
the
point.
next, let me flip the page here. Looks like the next piece is we're figuring out how to join these together to put them, and then those pieces will go on this big centerpiece here. So to make our
And there
block.
is some trimming at that point too, which
Mhm.
is a little not hard, but a little tricky because we didn't get all the instructions on proper way of trimming those pieces
Yeah.
in Doug's book. So, but
Yeah.
we have it figured out. So stick with us. We'll, we'll get you through it. Not a
Yes.
problem. Okay, well, I think that's it for this session. So hope everybody is able to keep up with us and are enjoying this project in spite of some of the little minor fudgy things that we've had to do. And yeah, so any parting words, Stephanie?
No, thanks so much. This was fun. I'm glad I got these done today.
Yeah, I am too. So, okay. So we'll be back with another session in another week. See you all later. Bye for
Bye.
now.